If you have been gifted a gift from your mother, father, grandparents, etc., how long would you keep it? As ridiculous as this question may sound, it needs a serious answer, because when you come to think of it, under specific conditions, you might have to get rid of this gift. I know what you're thinking, like it's just a family gift. It's not like I have some secret gem or monument that the government will chase after me to get. Well, we never know what these family members could have been doing in the past and how they got their hands on these so-called gifts. But let me tell you something about the next video, where we have a lady who was once in her living room when she heard some weird noise coming from her daughter's room. She knew something was off since the room was supposedly empty. She rushed to see what was going on, but didn't find anything. Later, on a different occasion, that noise echoed again. This time, the lady went on and grabbed her phone to record the event, but she didn't capture anything at first until she turned off the lights again and left the room. Then she heard a noise. She rushed back there, only to find the plushie that was on the table off the table. Fear wasn't a factor for her, at least not yet. She decided to keep the investigation going, so the ghosts had to put the sour taste in her mouth. Remember what I said about the gifts from a family member? Yeah, you old man. It's time to remind you. The woman had a doll that her mom had gifted to her 20 years ago. That thing was in the room, which fell somehow. The paranormal activity persisted after that day, as that doll moves on its own alongside other toys in that room, as seen in the other videos.
Ve, ya el video lleva casi un mes y todavía me siguen llegando comentarios de que deja de estafar a la gente, eso es mentira, eso es un hilo, allá abajo hay alguien. Ve, esa es la pared. Esto es pura pared. Que sea atrás de la puca, que sea atrás de la puca, atrás de la puca y pared. ¿Qué más tenéis que...? La muñeca causante de todo. Este era el cochecito que me estaban diciendo en uno de los comentarios, que se veía algo aquí. Supongo que era nada más la sombra o algo, porque no hay nada pegado a la pared. Solo está pegado esos dos cuadros y están guindados, no están pegados. Está la camita, allá están los adornos de Navidad que quitó mi mamá. La muñeca como tal lleva conmigo un... Marico, ya va, ve, no me hagáis coñaseate, no me hagáis cállate a coñazo, no me... ¡Ah! Pero desde hace rato se están escuchando vainas. Este es el cuarto de la bebé. Vamos a apagar la luz de igual manera. Este es el cuarto de la bebé. Ya la bebé dejó de jugar hace rato. Y no es nada más eso, que la hueputica esta... ¿Cómo es la verga? ¿Por qué estabas ahí? Ok, está bien pues. Déjalo así, marico, no importa. La verga esta nos deja tranquila, la bebé. Y no nada más eso. Sí. Marico. Otra vez vos. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa más o menos? Y de igual manera, o sea... ¡La cebolla!
I like how she wasn't having a fearful reaction, but more of a joy-in-the-moment type of reaction. I heard her scream and saw her run, but didn't sense her fear. I'm a sensational type of guy. You may all recall seeing ghosts in their all-time classic form. That bubbly head on top and the rest just like a sheet of cloth hanging. Why are you describing what a ghost looks like? We already know how it appears, so please keep your information to yourself. How about you also find out where I live and come to commit some acts? Regardless, this next video might seem familiar. It might remind you of something that has long passed. Please don't expose us to the reality we have lived before. We really weren't sure what we had in mind back in the day. who said anything about your personal past. I was referring to the next video, as you might have watched it before. The video is very simple yet very effective. We have one dude with another dude sitting late at night, playing games and chilling. I don't like the way this is going. Neither do I, because it really got ugly later in the video and might not be appropriate for all viewers. So what we had in mind was true. They did the unthinkable. I'm not exactly sure what your unthinkable is, but to me, the older brother got up to check on something in the other room, only to find a blanket hanging in the air. It seems as if there is a sphere inside, but when it fell, that spherical shape disappeared, aside from the light flickering and that broom falling.
¿Por qué no dormís ya todavía? ¿Va a dormir? Cargoso, el otro. ¿Ya se durmió, Leandro? ¿Se durmió o no? Capaz que está durmiendo y tú estás jugando con la luz. Quédate ahí, Tobias. No vayas, Tobias, quédate ahí. Quédate ahí, no vengas. Tobias, quédate ahí, no te despiertes, no despertes ahí, vengo, Tobias, quédate ahí. Ahora voy, Tobias, No te desperté todavía, quédate ahí. Ahora voy yo.
I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, I shared this exact same clip, but I don't remember anything I said before. Imagine if I had used a similar way to describe it. You need to take a breath before watching this next video, as it does hold some good chunks of paranormal activities happening back to back. The story is very simple. I had a dream to be successful on this platform, and I flopped. But what about the story of the subsequent sequence? The sequence takes us on a trip that we never wanted to a hotel very well known. The Magnolia Hotel is considered one of the most haunted locations in Texas, with a history dating back to the 1840s. Originally a stagecoach stop, the building later became a hotel and even a temporary hospital during epidemics. The place has become more like a historical place tourists visit to take photos and experience the paranormal activities on a personal level. I mean, they are not going there to actually experience the hauntings, but it's forced upon them if they want to be there. They reported hearing footsteps and such. But what has been captured actually? Well, the videos we have next show next-level horrifying activities. In one of the videos, pay attention to this one so you can pick up on everything. The clip shows a light-up ball in one of the rooms, which is a room called the children's room. The ball was rolling on its own. Simultaneously, a dress that was set in there was pulled. Shortly after, a shadow figure passed by. In the other clip, a painting that is hanging on the wall began moving up and down as if some force were pulling it from the bottom. To me, this next one is the most profound footage, where a group was sitting outside the house when they noticed something was moving behind the window. There was a figure peeking at them.
I'm getting ready to show you a video that we captured on our security cameras. I don't know how to download it onto TikTok, so I am actually filming it with my cell phone off the monitor. So I'm going to set it up. The little girl spirit, her name is Emma, and she died when she was only 12, being murdered by her dance teacher. And the one thing that she wanted to do was she wanted to be a ballerina when she grew up. So every time she comes to visit us, the room fills with the scent of baby powder, and she likes to twirl her way into the room. So I'm going to push play now so you can see. If you look, she enters, makes her ball move, and then look in the far left corner, and you're going to see her guardian. Her name is Mrs. Reed. She comes in to check on her in a shadow figure. So here it goes. And this happens all the time at our hotel.
Around. It wasn't something I heard like a voice or anything. It was actually like a noise of something. So.
Look again, watch. There it goes. Oh my God, did you see that?
That has to be a person.
No.
That has to be a person.
I honestly thought this was a normal vintage house. I was telling myself, who is crazy enough to live in such a house after all these events? Especially looking at how this house, or what I thought to be a house, is decorated and the age of it. We all make mistakes in life, and some must learn from the others. We tend to make mistakes in everything, even in our writing. How dramatic. So what is this about? How do you fix your mistakes and stay motivated? Let me finish. You may think that ghosts are different then, but that is not true. Because even they sometimes write you R with an R instead of an R and an E. In the next video, you're about to witness a ghostly error, a ghost who said he made that spelling mistake. But how? Well, let's first take a look at Leo, as known as V-Seat. He is a boy, or to be more respectful, he is a guy who works at a convenience store at night, and he has been witnessing some strange phenomena as of late. Since he started seeing objects and products being thrown on the ground or moved from their place, he started documenting the creepy occurrences, not to forget hearing voices, not in his head though, almost, I would say the least, because it's barely heard in the videos. So here he is again. Since I have featured him before, his situation has escalated ever since, and the voices seem to be declaring vengeance on the dude. They are calling him, talking to him, and waiting for his response so they can hook him up with their sinister world. I'm talking as if this is some movie. But Dave, or Leo, I guess that's what I named him. Leo is holding strong, trying to avoid these ghosts, but they keep trying to interact with him. They even got as far as touching him. In one of the incidents, they pushed the man really hard. He fell to the floor. In another incident, they knocked his phone out of his hand. Little did they know that thing costs money to repair, but that's nothing in comparison to the time when these ghosts slapped the man hard. They picked the wrong area to slap though. Now this all sounds like there's nothing to be worried about. He can just leave the job and work somewhere else. Problem solved. Wrong, there is still more to be reckoned with. One day, as he was back from work, he noticed that lights in his house were flickering like crazy, which had never happened before. He was spooked to the core to find out that these ghosts might have followed him home.
What the freak is my neighbor doing, bro? I'm right there with that light. That's my neighbor, bro. Oh, hell no, bro. Hell, see, bro, I'm telling you, it's followed me to my house. Oh, my mama, it followed me to my house. She's not here. There is no car in the driveway. I'm literally in the next apartment. Like, I just got home from work, and this is what I see, bro. Yeah, haunted. This haunted. This motherfucker followed me to my crib. Hell no. She's not here.
Yeah, no. We're doing it all day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro.
It's in our kitchen.
Yeah, it's the kitchen. Yeah. And people, bro, I'm telling you, bro, this thing is following me to my house. I'm literally, I'm right there.
Yeah,
Look, my neighbor's not here. That's my neighbor's driveway. That's mine. This is her apartment, bro. Like, I'm not folding, bro. I'm not going. My father said he's been doing it all day today. And, like, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Cabinet's open. This cabinet is always open. Every time I come out here to let the dogs out, it does this. See? Nobody's in there. Nobody's in there. This light right here. It's no shortage because it would have messed our apartment up too. Nobody's in there, bro. I know I'm like just looking at my neighbor's thing, but bro, that's like, I'm telling you, that's trippy. Like, nothing has happened at work all day today, and then all of a sudden this stuff starts to happen? Nah, heck no, cause I live right there. Literally, it's just a wall, and I heard, nope. I'm done. Ooh. You're here? What's your name? Was that, I'm assuming that was you? Was that you? Yo, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. You know, I get a little scared. How old are you? I'm trying to stay quiet because I'm trying to hear it. Hey guys, so look, I'm hearing voices again. Yo, y'all heard that, right? Yo, man, I'm freaking out. Hello? Oh, no. No. That sounded like it was literally in my ear, dude. See, look, nobody is here. Nobody's here. Oh my God, dude, it sounded like something was behind me. Hello? Okay, I'm done with this. You need to leave. Oh my, dude, you guys hear that, right? You guys hear it? I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. I just got smacked, man. You guys heard that? I dropped my phone. I'm closing, and I swear I'm hearing my name. I'm not tripping. Here's the camera, just to show you. You know what I mean? Nobody's in here. Oh, bro, I heard hay right behind me. On everything, I just heard hay. Here we go again. The good thing is I'm getting ready to leave. So like, sorry, I'm keeping the camera down. Yo, I'm telling you, you guys heard that. And it always does this whenever I'm leaving. And I don't know why. Yo, I heard it say leave. On my mama, I heard that stuff say leave. Yeah, nope. I'm getting out of here. Yep. I'm leaving. I'm not doing this. I'm out. Ah, that hurts, dude. It's like a hand. Bro, it was so loud.
At this point, resigning from the workplace may not be enough to stop the flow of the paranormal. He needs some protection, and the longer he stays there, the more that will be attached to him. Let's go back to an era I'm almost certain no one likes, 2016. We have a man named Bob Gimlin. This Bob dude works as a manager in a secluded spa resort. He is just an ordinary dude. I mean, the guy's name is Bob. Like, what do you expect? He was one night doing his job, managing the place at night while no one else was in the building other than him, so I'm not sure what he was trying to manage. It's almost as if his job is a complete setup to find out whether the place is haunted or not. He decided to start taking photos around the area. I don't know what got into his mind, but that's what he wanted back then. He took photos of the hallway and the lounge, and since he had bought a new iPhone at that time, he had no idea that it had a feature that takes short clips of the photos taken at the time. I also don't remember such a feature, but it exists. What's so interesting about this feature is that if something inexplicable happens during the capture moment of taking a photo, such clips can help make out what went wrong. But would anyone expect that this spa would turn out to be haunted? As the man began reviewing the pictures, he noticed something unusual, something that sent shivers down his spine and feces down his intestine. He noticed that by the reflection on the window in one of the pictures, there seems to be a man dressed in black standing right by his shoulder. Bob couldn't think that it might have been a trick due to the angles and the lights, and he began taking more photos, but this time, the live capturing feature was turned off due to low battery. Despite that, though, in one of the photos, a figure could be seen sitting on a chair by the fireplace.
Of the 118 photos I took that night at the spa, I thought there were 5 that depict an alleged apparition. But upon making this video, I discovered one more, actually. As you can see, I'm showing all the photos, not just the ghost ones, and I'm doing that as a point of good practice, so your eyes can acclimate and make a more effective decision. Every time I went to the spa after closing, it felt strange. Not bad, not good, just strange. Or as I so eloquently put it at the time, just the kind of place that if you didn't know where you were going, you feel like you'd never get there. Even when you're alone, you never really feel like it. And it was definitely a little frightening. Maybe not frightening, but unnerving. And I mean just because, being alone in a big building secluded. I don't mean it was unnerving because of ghosts or anything. But I very much had the feeling that there would be someone around every corner. That's just how it felt. So first I looked down this long, creepy hallway. Then I turned to go into one of the service rooms. Have a look about for whatever reason. And then I get fixated on this window at the end of the hall. I take 3 photos of the window. And then one at the floor. The baseboard, maybe. And I must have walked away. I'm looking at the window from a distance, but I'm heading back to it. And then here is the first of several in this sequence that seem to depict something else. To the right of the flash. And if you're not convinced, you can see it better on the live capture, and I'll replay it. Again, I didn't even notice the figure in this sequence until I started working on this video. This was not the subject of this video. I haven't even gotten to the good part yet. To prove that the silhouette on the right isn't me, look at this photo from earlier, from a few photos ago. See, no figure. I was alone in there, but not alone. Strangely enough, this photo is the last photo that used the live capture. After this photo, the live capture feature ended, but I took 16 more photos wherein the live capture is unfortunately disabled. And of those 16 photos, an obvious and apparent apparition appears in no less than 6 of them. 6 out of 16. That's 37% of the remaining photos. And the apparition you're about to see is no reflection. And right here is the first time it appears. See in the chair? Let's blow it up. I may not have even noticed this had it not been for the photos to come. Empty chair, empty tables, fireplace, and again, same figure, same place. And here it is blown up to 300%.
There is a reason you are, or were at the time, a night manager. They knew who they were hiring for the job, a perfect fit. They also found out about you buying a new iPhone, and knowing that you had no clue the live feature existed, it was all set up for a creepy tale. Maybe the title on your screen you see is a little off-putting, but it makes sense once you hear the story. Not my personal story, don't get too excited. I wouldn't share my personal trauma here, but it's the personal experience of a man who moved to a house about 2 years ago. He and his daughter have moved in with peace. They brought all the peace they could gather and settled in. That was a boring story. If that was the end of it, it would have been boring. However, their story only began from that point. As they began experiencing some strange things happening around them, gas prices suddenly spiked up and groceries became less affordable. Though this was a worldwide effect, what they began experiencing when they moved into their new home on a personal level was paranormal activities, from noises and bangs to footsteps. He didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so he decided to neglect it. I don't even understand how he was able to do that, but he wasn't able to keep that act for long, that's for sure. These ghosts didn't let him rest. They took that a step further and began getting physical with him and his daughter. They scratched the man and snapped at him. Maybe they didn't snap him, but they definitely scratched him and shoved him, and even at one point, as explained by him, these ghosts even blasted him with a freezing air force. It almost knocked him off his balance. These are his words, not mine, so don't hold me accountable for it. I never knew how much these ghosts like to use special moves. Here's where the investigators began their shift after they heard this man's story, though during the interview where he explained the story, the man did feel something slightly touching him and even said he saw a figure by the corner of his eye. These investigators also couldn't catch a break. Instead, they caught some hooks from the ghosts. As in the basement, one of them felt a heavy touch on his shoulder, while during the spirit box session, he felt a headache and pain in the shoulder, not to mention the knocks and footsteps.
It's gonna happen again and again and again until it's properly taken care of. Did you hear that?
I heard that and I thought I seen a shadow in the kitchen.
I seen it dart up from the top of your head, a black shadow.
Unfortunately, this loud banging happened during the equipment setup. Luckily, we had a camera recording on the second floor, which was able to document the audio from this scary encounter.
What the is that?
Sounded like something hit something right before he jumped. Sounded like the wall got hit or something.
Knocking upstairs.
I believe as these two balls of energy pass through the ceiling towards Sean, they create this knocking sound that we also hear at this exact moment.
There's something walking.
I hear it. Oh,
What was that? One in the stairwell, it just jumped up to 1.0. Oh.
a spike.
Yep, went all the way up to 0.3. Okay, what do you want me to look at? I can't walk around down here. Whoa, shh! What the hell? I can't walk around down here. Whoa, shh! What the hell? What was that? Okay, I'm definitely not alone. Is that what you want me to try to look at? It's dark down here. I can't see nothing. What the fudge was that? Look. I think you're the one that's hurting this family. Did somebody do something bad in this house before this family moved in?
Another cold breeze. The cold breezes you keep getting here is freaking crazy. What the frick?
If you try really hard, use all your energy, manifest a thought, a feeling. Why are you inside this house?
I'm getting such a headache.
Oh, come here. Oh, that hurts. Like a pinch right in the middle of my back, upper back, between my shoulder blades. Did something happen to you inside this basement? What the freak? Did you just touch me? Did you just touch my hand? We walked through here. There's no way there would be a cobweb right here. I literally just felt something touch my hand.
Did somebody take something away that was yours?
Stone.
No, don't touch me. You're not gonna touch me. I felt you grab my hand. Please stop. Okay, alright boys. That's enough for me. Stop, don't touch me.
I'm right here.
Yeah, and you stay right where you're at. Do not touch me.
I like how the father was also part of the investigation. He did attend to contribute, not just as a storyteller, but also as an investigator, which is something you don't usually see in these kinds of videos. The next video might not be much, and you can skip if you wish to, and it will be as if you have missed nothing, but that doesn't mean you won't have missed anything. No, my friend, it's not a matter of whether you want it or not, it's more complex. It's a matter of whether you need it or don't. Okay, this is a bit mysterious. Where is this going? Well, I can't truly know, and I can't definitively tell you what to do. But here's the thing, our guy in the next video decided to visit the old abandoned hotel in Piedra Blanca, San Luis Province, Argentina. Some people have claimed they have encountered ghostly activities inside, and apparitions possibly. So Leo didn't fear the journey a single bit, but he had to sneak his way into the building so the police nearby wouldn't spot him, as, from what it seems, it's forbidden for citizens to enter this place without a legal's permission. Anyhow, the man went inside, took a look around the place, and shared his thoughts on its decoration, its vintage leftovers, the decoy, etc. But then he started hearing some sounds from outside. It wasn't clear who was causing them, and not long after, a heavy thud was heard. But in the end, he was not able to capture much, other than the sound of a crying baby at the very end.
Parte de la escalera y acá. Wow, miren lo que era este salón. Este era el bañito. Algún baño como de recepción. que suelen tener los hoteles. Miren esto. Wow. ¿Dónde está la barra? De la barra. Pues se escucha un perro. Hay gente. Hay gente. Acá está la parrilla. Miren esto. Esta puerta que vaya a saber dónde te conducía porque no te lleva a una pared. O sea, atrás hay una pared. Es rarísimo. Vamos a ver acá un poquito. La camioneta que les dije. Parece que se está yendo. Uy, se me parte el corazón. ¿Y esto? Carajo, de acá. Aquí yo soy el demonio. Cuídate cuando salgas de acá. Que mira. Bueno, Dios me acompaña. Bien. Vamos bien. Hay tantas habitaciones y tantos pasillos que no sabes qué te puede llegar a salir de acá adentro.
As I told you before, you could have easily skipped this one if you wanted to, but there was some freaky charm to this one as well. Was there actually one? Nope, but I will be silent so you can hear some of these replays clearly. I may have featured this video, and I may have not. I don't honestly remember, but I'm pretty sure I have seen this one before. This video comes from the angle of someone who might be a regular explorer. I honestly thought he was working there at first. I don't know. I thought he could be either a janitor or a doctor who works a late shift. But as I was informed by my secret agent, this man is just an everyday lame. I mean, an everyday plain explorer. This was an abandoned or semi-abandoned hospital in San Jose. The man is Jose Miguel Stark. He comes from a rich family, but we are not going down that rabbit hole and talking about some royal family. We are here for the video itself. Well, while he was on it, exploring, I guess, he decided to take a break and chill. He sat on the chair and lit up a cigarette, but he didn't actually. He did so only in my imagination. He just sat down and took a break before he realized the ghosts were about to break his calmness with some action. The window's door all of a sudden wildly moved before it was slammed. And if you look closely, you might see something moving like a faint weight. It could also be a light reflection.
C'est dommage.
The way he was recording made me think this man was working there, not exploring, because I have not seen an investigator who would just sit in the middle of a hospital alone at night while recording. I'm one of those people who really don't get along with neighbors. Let alone all these years where I have mentioned my neighbor throughout my videos in many different interactions, but normal neighbors can vary depending on their behavior. They can get annoying as F. Being abnormal is a rare case though, which takes me to our next guy, our Frenchman who just moved into his new apartment as a tenant. He was greeted with a warm welcome, and if the neighbor wasn't controlling himself, he could have greeted him with open arms. He found his neighbor standing by the door, barely moving, with a weird expression on his face, and didn't speak a single word. The new tenant, whom I will call Chris, was worried, but he had to keep the investigation for the next day. Later, he discovered that a previous tenant had lost his life in this very same building, so the junctions are coming together. Could it be that this weird neighbor is behind it? Later, Chris came back home. When he found that the neighbor's door was open, curious to check on him, he stood by when the door slammed on his face on its own. To make things even scarier, Chris asked some neighbors about the mental health of this dude. One of them told him that he is possessed, which could explain why in one of the clips he was staring at different walls and banging his head lightly on one of them.
Les gars. Oh putain. Je sais pas si vous entendez. Viens là, mon chien. Monte, monte. Ça monte, 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 monte. Il y a un bruit. Il y a un bruit depuis tout à l'heure dans le hall. Attendez. Je sais pas si vous entendez. Mais j'ose pas. J'ose pas aller voir. Ça s'arrête pas. Ah mais attends, je vais passer par mon jardin. Je vais essayer de filmer, attendez, bougez pas. Wow, je l'entends de là le bruit. Pourquoi je suis en rouge comme ça? Je sais pas. Comment je fais pour retourner? Attends. Merde. Wow, cette porte elle est ouverte. Putain, il y a un trou dans mon jardin.
Je voulais faire un zoom tour de mon nouvel appart.
Un petit peu là où j'habite. Oh. J'ai emménagé à... Oh.
Je l'avais pas vu.
Pardon, je suis désolé. Je suis votre nouveau voisin. J'ai emménagé avant-hier. Du coup, bah, enchanté.
Tu sens ce malaise?
Ça va, monsieur? Monsieur? Ça va?
Il ne dit rien.
Bah... Si vous avez besoin de quoi que ce soit... vous me dites, hein, vous frappez, pas de soucis. Hein.
Regarde les doigts. Ça veut dire un truc?
Ça va, monsieur? Bon. Bah, bonne journée, du coup.
Allez, je flippe là, je rentre. Avis?
Les gars, j'allais ressortir ma chienne. J'ai retrouvé encore la porte comme ça. Et c'est pareil, on dirait qu'il n'y a personne. Je sais pas trop. Y'a quelqu'un? Jean-Luc? Je sais pas, c'est flippant. Ta mère! Oh, oh, je vais crever. Oh putain, l'enculé. Oh l'enculé. Oh, j'ai souri la face près. Oh putain, le bâtard. Oh là. Les gars. Je viens de sortir de chez moi pour sortir mon chien. Et la porte à l'écran est ouverte. Et apparemment, il n'y a personne. Je vois personne. Super. La lumière, c'est celle-là, là, c'est pas chez lui. Attends. Attention, mon chien, attention. Fais pas de bêtises. Il y a quelqu'un? Où, monsieur? Oh putain. La salle de bain, la lumière elle est éteinte. Y a quelqu'un ou pas? Oui, les boîtes de lettres, c'est ça où il s'est tapé hier. Mais là, je vous dis, vraiment, c'est un studio, hein. C'est tout petit, en fait, il n'y a qu'une pièce. Monsieur, est-ce que vous êtes là? Bon, allez, viens, on sort ça. Allez, on y va. Non, non, ne joue pas, ça, pourquoi?
This is some serious stuff, a let's move out before it's too late situation. First of all, we are not in a horror movie, so this man doesn't have to stick around for long. Second of all, he is not American. Usually Americans tend to stay long to investigate. Like if I meet my new neighbor the day I move in the way he did, the landlord won't see the day I pay the rent because I'm already out the next day. And I was the one who thought that room was well lit up. It turned out I was looking at something scary without realizing it. Let me explain to you what I'm babbling about. The next video comes from a lady who seemed to have moved into her new house when she realized that previous residents didn't leave yet. So before you ask a stupid question of why these people are being rude, their time is up. I'm not talking about normal residents. These ones have a special condition. They are ghosts, literal ghosts. She was giving us a tour of the attic room when she realized there was a crawl room in there, locked behind a wooden panel. When she took off that board to take a sneak peek at it, nothing was behind it, just darkness and some glinting tiny light source. It turned out that the light was in fact not supposed to be there. People who saw the video said the light might be of some creature or a ghost. The other day when she went up there again, she found the wooden panel on the floor even though it was not supposed to be. She didn't think of it much and sealed the room again with that board, took a short look around the room before that panel fell on its own. Here's where she began suspecting something terrifying might be lingering in the house, but she was assured of it when she returned home after dropping her daughter off at school. Obviously, she found the chairs rearranged in a weird manner even though the house was empty, supposedly.
So I just moved into this house like 2 weeks ago, but I am extremely afraid of this room back here. I've only been in it 4 times. The first time was to come and look at the house, and I looked at it, and then the second time was to get a bed frame that was up here. The third time my sister was here, and the fourth time to put these boxes up here. And that's where I went, to the top of the stairs. Literally the top of the stairs, because I was too scared. But this is now my 5th time up here. Tell me why. What was that? Okay, I think it's the neighbors, I'm not sure. But why is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 over there, and there's 3 behind. Why is there 21 mattresses up in this room? This hole on the other side of it, it leads to a big open space that I'm petrified of. I only looked in there once. What is that noise? I think it's my neighbors. Okay, I think they're underneath this room, which is not a part of my house. I think it's the garage, which the downstairs people get. But this door, or this thing, I put this up last time I was up here. Wait, let me turn my flashlight on. Okay, flashlight is on? No. On. Flashlight can't be on. Okay. There's a whole other couple of rooms back there. I'm too scared. Just put that back up there. I think it's the whole rest of... Okay, I picked my mom up from Toronto yesterday, and I wanted to show her the house. So of course, I showed her the spooky room. And I must have left the light on up there. I don't remember leaving the light on. But I stood at the bottom of the stairs and I made my mom go up the stairs. And I was like, Mom, look into that wooden spot over there. And she's like, what wooden spot? That's because it's down there. Yeah, no. There's cushions back there. No. I told my ex about it and he said that it was probably the draft that did it. I don't know, I'm gonna put it back up. I think that's secure. Can't even see out the window today. Ooh, that's a nice picture. That'd go nice in my kitchen. Ooh. Okay. So it must have been the draft. I'll have to get somebody to come and nail that on or something. Or I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna go get some nails right now. Because that. I am freaked out. I just got home and tell me why my chairs are like this. Like what the I literally still have my coat on. I come walking through the... Oh my god. I'm like shaking right now. I just went and dropped my daughter off to her dad's house. And all the chairs were around the table. What the Oh my god. I need to call my mom.
I never knew how decorative these ghosts can be. The way these chairs were realigned was just a work of art. Now some may say, why am I claiming it was ghostly work? It could be some person hiding in the house. Yeah, but what about that wooden panel falling on its own twice? It could be a combination of both. It could also be that you still haven't subscribed or watched the next video on screen yet.